We are we are recording this session, so hope that's fine with you. We'll share it with the people who could not make it today, and there are more people joining in slowly. Thanks everyone for joining in on Sunday morning. So the IIT Delhi Alumni Association represents around 56,000 IIT Delhi alumni across the globe. It plays a pivotal role in forging and maintaining links between the institute and the alumni. The activities and programs of IIT Delhi Alumni Association and its chapters are directed towards building strong linkages between the institute and the IIT Delhi community. So, our today's session is part of the Aarogyam series where we focus on health and wellness. In the past, we have had sessions from the Art of Living Foundation and also by Acharya Prashant um, this year. We have had 4 to 5 sessions, and this is a further session in our ongoing series. So, for today, our speakers are Mr. Khurshid and Ms. Nishita. Thanks, both of you, for joining in. I'll share a brief introduction about both of them, and maybe you can also share more details about yourself. So, Mr. Khurshid obtained his postgraduate in mathematics from IIT Bombay. Khurshid Batliwala, or popularly known as Baba, is a nickname that has stuck from his IT days. Is an extraordinary personality. In his own words, he decided it was better to teach people meditation and make them happy rather than teach them mathematics and make them miserable. And thus chose the unconventional and challenging career path as a faculty member of the Art of Living, sharing the vision of its founder, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, which is to see a smile on every face on the planet. He inspires young people the world over to realize their self identified aspirations, empowering them to lead the lives they want to lead rather than getting stuck with the lives they have to lead. Myriad personality, Baba is committed to utilizing every moment of his time in enriching the life of people around. Apart from conducting youth workshops as an Art of Living senior faculty member, Baba also conducts interesting workshops such as the Mathemagic, which makes math fun and interesting. The Financial Literacy Workshop, a seminar on unconventional concepts on money management and wealth generation, and an introductory workshop on Western classical music. So let's see what all things he touches on today. But if not today, we will also request him for future sessions on the other topics he is an expert at. He's a complete technology geek, and he brings to the table a smooth blend of cutting edge technology and deep knowledge of Indian spirituality and traditions. His passions include computer games, long walks, good food, and caring about the environment and animals. In Baba, you find a unique coexistence of both a sharp intellect and a heady sense of fun with a child's innocence and warmth. Thank you, Mr. Baba, for joining in today.
Thank you for such a lovely introduction.
Yeah. So we
I'm just
also have,
gobbling down the last part of my breakfast, so I'll put on the video in like half a minute.
yeah, please take your time. Yeah. We also have Nishita Bajaj Jensen with us today. She's a IIM Bangalore 2002 pass out and a thought leader and a global executive coach to CEOs. Her advisory and coaching experience and passion is built around a unique approach comprising gold standard methodologies of leadership effectiveness globally, combined with consciousness based leadership approaches and prior advisory and strategic consulting experience from her time at Boston Consulting Group and other advisory roles. She's a thought leader in the areas of leadership excellence, which is energy leadership, blocks to change, purpose driven growth, and other related areas. She has also authored curriculum for the leading management institute in India, IIM Bangalore, some of which are also published in the Harvard Business Publishing. She regularly addresses IM Alumni Pan India on topics related to leadership excellence, and she is invited to speak at various other private fora and to group of business owners and CEOs. She worked with selective other top thought leaders in their field globally and top management thinkers of India to regularly develop cutting edge, cutting edge approaches in these spaces. So thanks Nishita for joining in and a very warm welcome to you for the session.
Thank you, Abhyendra, and good morning, everyone. Wonderful to meet you all. And thank you for the warm and wonderful introductions and welcome. Great. What will considerably make this session more effective if we have our cameras on. I know it's Sunday dressing, and that is the dress code for today. So with that in mind, the invitation to turn all our cameras on.
And you're welcome to have your breakfast while you're listening to us.
Great. So as Abhyendra said, I'm a consultant essentially by background, and consultants, as you know, are great at asking questions. So let me put out a question to all of us, and feel free to unmute, write in the chat box, whatever you like. Our topic for today is around success. The question, what do you think makes you successful? It could be anything. It could be hard work, it could be luck, it could be wealthy parents, best boss of your life, worst boss of your life who prompted you to go out and do something else on your own, whatever. What do you think makes you successful? Yeah. So everybody, who would like to share thoughts? We're going to run this interactive. Resilience, okay, KJ. Feel free to unmute as well.
No, what you do, it should be sustainable.
What you do should be sustainable, okay?
To me, the success is about what makes you satisfactorily internally.
All right. Pankaj says being of some help
According to
to
me,
others.
success should be defined as someone's ability to live his or her life the way he or she wants to.
Okay. Great. Anything else? What really makes one successful? You know, most executive coaches around the world actually will tell you that it is not what makes you successful that is important, but you think about it for a moment, right? We're all intelligent, accomplished people. Rather than what makes us successful, what is interesting to reflect on is what holds you back from success. Now, over the last 20 plus years, through my experience as an advisor and executive coach, I have distilled what holds people back from success into what I call 4 blocks or 4 obstacles to success. So that's what Bava and I are going to touch upon today. Very, very briefly, you're going to get a glimpse of it. Yes? We will also touch upon, through Baba's vast experience about the human mind and more, we will touch upon what we call our busting strategies. So think of it as, what are the 4 blocks to success and what can help you bust or break those blocks? Yes. Second invitation to turn our cameras on, if we haven't already. It makes it more interesting when it's interactive. Great, lovely to see more of you. Okay, so shall we dive into the first block? Yes? Let me begin with a story. Now, this is the story of somebody I coached, and I can't share names, of course, so let's call him David. All right? Now, David was a very interesting combination of, on the one hand, having a very fine mind, so great thinker, very analytical, very sharp. He thought very strategically as well. All right? And on the other hand, he was fantastic with people. He could mobilize people, he could network, whichever way, downward, sideways, upwards, great with people. Now you would think that with this combination of having a fantastic mind and being great with people, he would be very successful, right? Wrong. David had hit a plateau. Okay? What was missing? Just the sheer energy to start something new and see through it was the block that David encountered. David just, he would come up with the best of ideas, but he lacked the energy to see it through. And this is obstacle one. This is block one, what we call the inertia block. So let's do a little exercise. Let's all close our eyes for a moment. Don't go back to sleep, but wherever you are, sit back, relax, close your eyes. And let's think of a time when we felt energetic. You felt energetic, you felt ready to take on more. Now, let's think of a time when we felt, tired, perhaps. We had goals, but we just did not have the energy to take them on, to see them through in a sustained manner. And once more, with our eyes closed, let's think of a time when we felt energetic, ready to go out there, start new things. All right, let's open our eyes. Did you notice the difference in how you felt? Yeah? Okay, so we'll let it rest at that for the moment. But if the inertia block, obstacle one, is about energy that's missing, then obviously the antidote to that, or the answer to that, is raising your energy, right? Which then brings into question, how do you really raise your energy? And before we go into the heart of it now, there's actually, we rolled out a survey amongst a piece of research amongst people who were, somewhat successful is what they call themselves. And then, of course, the pool of people we rolled it out to. So people who are successful and people who are very successful. All right. And what was fascinating was that the research showed that 65% of successful people do something to raise their energy. And if you look at that very successful bucket, it was 90%. All right. Now, there's a lot of Harvard Business Review research on managing your energy, not your time, because time is a finite resource. Energy is a different story. But Baba is with us today. So he's the master of energy and the mind. Baba, what would you say are the best ways in your experience to raise energy?
Well, the simplest way is to sleep. And sleep enough. I personally went through a terrible bout of insomnia about a decade ago, in which in the beginning it was a lot of fun because I couldn't sleep at night, so I could catch up with all my IIT buddies all over the world. But very quickly it stopped being funny, and very quickly it really impacted my quality of life. then it got worse. I went through anxiety and panic attacks, which were not pleasant at all. It was really, really bad. And when I went to my doctor, she told me that, you teach yoga and meditation. You know how to fix yourself. I'm not going to give you any medicine. You fix yourself. She was quite, quite heartless in that. And the one thing I learned in IIT was how to do research. So I ironically sat through all those nights I couldn't sleep and read up about sleep. And when you strip away the science, turns out that there are a few habits that you need to inculcate to get really amazing sleep. And what was a problem for almost 5 or 6 years went away in about 4 or 5 months once I started implementing this. I did not take any allopathic intervention whatsoever. I just used a little bit of Ayurveda, a little bit of homeopathy, something else called craniosacral therapy, and something else called batch flower remedies. I used a combination of these holistic techniques and my own research to fix my sleep. And in time, I reclaimed my sleep, I reclaimed my health, reclaimed my smile. And me being me, a lot of people said, you have been meditating 30 years. How can this happen to you? And I said, yes, I had been meditating 30 years, but I also abused my system. I did not sleep enough. I took things for granted. I ate all sorts of junk food. So when I cleaned up my lifestyle, I found health came back in copious quantities. And I could really do so many things. I had my 54th birthday just a few days ago. And I can very confidently say today that I am healthier at 54 than I was at 35. And one of the things that I did was manage energy, right? And the big key component in that was sleep. You have to remember, of course, that I have been meditating 30 years. And that is why even with that horrific sleep deprivation that I went through, I could still continue functioning more or less normally. So the combination of sleep and meditation, along with cleaning up diet and creating time for exercise. For me, exercise was the time pass thing. When everything else is done, then if you have time, you go for a walk. But creating time for exercise and saying that exercise, walking, gymming is an integral part of my life, just as my work is. That is what really, really created all the health that I have now and created the energy that I need to do all the things that I do. If you remember Abhyendra, when he introduced me, I am so interested in so many things. And doing all that requires energy. It's as simple as that, right? Like Nishita said, when you when you think of, okay, I got this fantastic idea, and then you say, chhod yaar, let's just have chai. It's just too much trouble to do it. This is what I think holds people back from really achieving their dreams. And I'll tell you one thing, there is no such thing as, oh, I am too old to now go after my dreams. You are at the perfect point in your life to actually start realizing your dreams. And the one thing you need for that is energy, Shakti, right? And the 4 big things I will say for energy, in no particular order, though I would say sleep is the foundation. And on top of that, you add meditation, diet, proper diet, and exercise. And you will feel like $1 million. You will feel, how you used to feel, 20, 30 years ago. So we have written 3 books, actually. Dinesh and I have written 3 books, Ready, Study, Go, which is all about studying. That we led Art of Living's youth program for a long time. So the most often asked question to us was, how did you get into IIT? And then more importantly, how did you get out of IIT? How did you study? What were your study strategies? So we wrote a book on that. And then just what I talked about, busting the energy block. That's our second book called Happiness Express, which talks about sleep, meditation, food, exercise, diet, things like that. And then our third book, Sleep Your Way to Success, which will be released very soon, maybe in a month or two, talks about the importance of sleep for success and talks about how you can create a blueprint for your own success. Because for we started the talk, everybody has different ideas of success. And so whatever your idea of success is, it will allow you to create that particular idea, create that particular thing, and then create a blueprint to follow through to get to that. But for that to happen, you need your energy intact, right? And so, as Nishita says, the first block, the inertia block, to get over it, you simply need energy. And for that, you need to give priority to sleep, meditation, exercise, and diet.
No, Baba, I never quite dared try joining an IIT, but I did join an IIM, and I'm told both IITians and IIM folks don't have great sleep patterns all through their life.
They have pathetic sleep patterns.
But what a lot of them do, Baba, is try to make it up through power naps. So, and look, the floor is open. If any of you have a question, please put it in the chat box or feel free to unmute, because we may not have time for questions later. So, but power naps is a very common question.
I have a question. Sorry, Baba.
Yes,
To Nishita. Nishita, you and Baba also. You people are basically talking about physical energy. Am I right? So when you talk about sleep, you talk about energy. You talk about basically physical energy. Because unless and until you're physically fit, you can't do things, and if you can't do things, you can't have a success here. But what about the mental energy, which is also required for the success?
Those are the
first question.
Those are the other blocks. Those are the other blocks. We'll get to them.
Okay.
So we move on to the second block.
No. My second question is to Nishita again. You mentioned about successful people and more successful people.
Yes.
I would like to know how long is your scale of success here? How do you place the people from one end to the other end?
No, so we had a metric. There was a pool of people, and based on their professional success, we sort of broadly bucketed it, and then it was overlaid with what they think of themselves as. So both
Can
were
you just
factored
explain a few
in.
criteria which you think make the people more successful than and certain criteria which make the people less successful?
Very happy to talk more about this piece of research. Maybe we can do it offline, because we're on block 1, 3 more blocks to cover. Would you like to do that?
No. Let's move to the next block now.
Okay, fine.
Nishita, Sandeep has a question. Sandeep, would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, Baba. Of course, I have heard you earlier in Calcutta when you had come and we had organized a program. I wanted to ask you, this is something new. See, you always have promoted meditation, but in Calcutta, for instance, this region, chanting is very popular. So what is your view? I mean, do you think that we need to do chanting and meditation, or we can replace meditation with chanting?
There are different paths. Chanting ultimately will lead you towards meditation. You chant, your mind calms down. That is basically what is meditation, right? So it is not an either or, it is an and. For me personally, chanting has a little bit of space, but the pure meditation that we learn in an Art of Living course of maybe Sudarshan Kriya or Sahaj Samadhi meditation, I find that personally for me much more powerful than any chanting. Chanting could be a great beginning place, I would say, because when you are chanting, your mind is not going all over the place. At least you are with the mantra, you are with that chant for that much time. So from many thoughts, you have come down to at least 1 or 2 thoughts. But when you go into real meditation, then you are in a space where there is no thought, and that is something which is really amazing to experience.
And we've actually gotten into the third block now.
Yes, I know.
But Gaurav has a very interesting question, so let's take that.
Okay.
Baba, in your experience, for a lot of people, sleep habits run over decades.
Right.
How do you then break that?
First of all, are you ready to break it? Are you ready to give that time, effort, and money towards it? Because it's going to cost all three. Are you convinced enough that it is important? For a long time, I was not, until nature slapped me really hard. And I was arm twisted into creating a better lifestyle for myself. Intelligence is not waiting for that to happen. Right? So if you are really convinced about it, one of the things that you can do to completely reset your sleep cycles is take a month-long vacation in a place where there is no internet or hardly any internet facility available and sporadic electricity. When you do that, towards evening, you have nothing to do, right? You just have nothing to do. And so your body will automatically reset into its correct sleep pattern. But it takes about 20 days to a month for this to happen, right? Of course, the challenge is once you have figured that out and you come back to your life to maintain it. But you feel so bloody good when your body finally settles into a proper sleep pattern that you realize the worth of it. So yes, it requires that you completely take off for maybe 20 days, go up in Rishikesh somewhere, go up in the Himalayas or wherever you want. I'm not asking you to go and be in some snow or a cave or something. Go to a nice resort, spend some money, but make sure that it is a little primitive. So you don't have internet connection, so you cannot watch your Netflix, you cannot do your emails, you cannot do your WhatsApp, you cannot do all that. You need to be cut off from all that for some time, right? Then the body gets the chance to say, okay, I can now relax. I can now figure out when I need to sleep. One more hint I will give you on this. Towards evening, every single person, say after sunset, 7:30, 8 p.m., you will feel about 15-20 minutes of I really need to sleep now. You will yawn, you will feel tired, you will just want to hit the bed, and you fight it. Yes, don't fight it. That is the time, that is your body's natural signal given to you that this time you need to sleep. Like that, it's called a sleep window. You get a window of sleep. There are two systems in the body that regulate sleep. When both these systems peak, you get a sleep window. If you sleep in that time, that is the healthiest, most amazing sleep you will get. Similarly, when both those systems kind of crash towards morning, you get a wake up window. And if you wake up in that time, get out of bed and start your day rather than lounging in bed, you will have a fantastic day. So your body is already giving you these signs. You only need to listen to them. And when you isolate yourself for some time, these signs become super strong. You cannot ignore them. And since you have nothing else to do, you actually follow them. Right? So if you truly are committed towards breaking your sleep patterns, this is something you can do. We are actually thinking of creating a 15-20 day retreat like this. If it ever fructifies, I'll let you guys know.
Baba, you said that nature gave you somewhat of a hard slap, and that's how you self-corrected. I think I had it easier. I just read your book and I implemented one thing, and I actually started to look and feel years younger. So y'all can decide here who the intelligent one is.
It is said the intelligent one learns from their own mistakes. The wise one learns from other people's mistakes. So I was intelligent, Nishita was wise. You decide who you want to be.
And we're both friends, as you can see. All right, so moving on to obstacle 2. That's what we call the thought block. all right? It's a level deeper. You have the physical energy perhaps, but it's thoughts that are stalling your success. So let me share with you a story of two people I coached. I can't share their names again, but let's call one of them Bharat, all right? Bharat was great at driving results. What he was not good at was networking. He just did not want to network. You asked him why, and he's a CEO of a company, all right? You asked him why, he would say, you know, this is just not me. It's not my style. I can't do this stuff. There are other folks who do this, all right? So that was Bharat for you. And then there was another CEO, again, very, very good at driving results. Let's call him Bala. Now, Bala, again, refused to network. You ask him why, he would say, I actually don't believe that it is important in my role. The numbers are showing my team is doing good. I'm good with my team. Yeah, why is it important in my role? It's not critical, and so I don't do it. I believe that work speaks for itself. Okay, these were long conversations that you could have with Bala on his belief around why networking was not critical to his role. Now, in both cases, Bharat's and Bala's, over a period of time, the businesses did not grow as exponentially as they could have, as exponentially as perhaps some of their, you know, similar counterparts did. And if you examine why, it was because of this, because they didn't go out there and network enough as CEOs. So both, in different ways, had what we call the thought block, right? So it's their own thoughts about themselves or their role that is stalling their success. And, you know, I had coached them both. So fortunately, when we started our coaching relationship in just 1 or 2 coaching sessions, they reframed what they were thinking. And both then started networking very quickly, and then both saw, you know, the results once they did. So that's what successful people do. They essentially bust their thought block. All right, they're not slaves to their thoughts. They actually find a way to disconnect their thoughts from their actions. And if your question is how, nobody better than Baba to share a little bit more on that. Baba, in your experience, disconnecting thoughts from your actions.
You know, we all think so many things, isn't it? We don't act on all of them, right? Thoughts come. The intention to act on a thought is yours. You decide whether you want to go ahead and act on that thought or not. Yes, no. Yeah. So take it the other side. You have a thought, oh, I am not good at networking. I don't need to network. Whether you act on that or not is again up to you. Right? And as Nishita said, a great leader will not be a slave to his thoughts. He will be able to take a particular thought and see whether it is good to act on it in this particular situation or not. Right? And that is an exercise of supreme awareness. You need to really be able to step back and see, okay, this particular thought I got about this particular thing, does it make sense for me to act on it? Or should I just let it be? Right? So this is where your mindfulness techniques come in, where you are aware of what you are doing, where you are not on autopilot. I like to think of, you've seen those fountain Pepsi machines, right? You press one button, you get Pepsi. You press another button, you get Fanta. You press a third button, you get Sprite. You press a fourth button, you get whatever, right? For a lot of people, it is like that. You press one button, they become very happy. You press another button, they become miserable. You press a third button, they get angry, and so on. Notice how you knew your parents' buttons very well. I remember pressing a button on dad, pressing a button on mom, and then just sitting back and watching the show. I'm sure you have also done it. And I'm sure your children, if you have any, are doing it to you now. Okay. The point is to become button proof. If you do not let other people simply push you into reacting, and rather you respond to a situation, then I think you have overcome the thought block. Does that make sense? Guys, you need to show me at least a thumbs up or something so that I know that I'm not talking to just, And
it totally makes sense, man.
Good. Fantastic. Thank you. So any questions on that for Nishita or me on the thought block, please ask.
Actually, what Gaurav said doesn't make only sense. It gives you are giving the summary of all things. You have to practice a lot to become like that.
Mental block बन जाता है अगर कोई negative के बारे में बोले.
So Narinder has a lovely question. He says, how do you create your belief system? How do you block a thought of your belief system?
How do you block your
Belief system is a function of many factors around you, right? Your own upbringing, your nationality, your religion, your political leanings, your financial stability. There is a lot of things that goes into it. The point is, if there is something that you don't in quotes believe in, I would say look at it properly. Yeah, this is one of the things we talk about on the Art of Living course also. That there are many things that I will tell you that you will agree with. See, when you agree with me, there is no big deal. You agree with anything. Anyway, you agree with things you know. See, when I say 2 + 2 is 4, you agree because you know it. Right? But if I say 1 + 0 is 1, 1 + 0 is 0. You will say, what, MSc Mathematics, IIT Bombay, what's the matter with you? Right? Especially when you don't agree with me, this is the time when you have to think about it. Here is a person who has got a lot of experience under his belt. It is very rare that he will make a boo-boo in public. If he is saying something, maybe there is something there. So, of course, 1 + 0 is equal to 0 does not fit into your belief system at all in any way. But now, since I have said it, maybe you think about it. When could 1 + 0 be 0? Right? And what life lesson do you get out of it? So, when your belief system is challenged, when your thought processes are challenged, this is where growth happens, provided you allow it to. You could simply say, hey, Baba, talking bloody bakwas, shut up. Okay, 1 + 0 is 0. Oh, bullshit. And you lose out. Right? Now, of course, if a child tells you that 1 + 0 is 0, you correct the child because you know that the kid is talking out of ignorance. So you need to have discretion about where you allow your belief systems to be challenged and where you don't. Okay?
And it becomes easier to do this when you meditate,
Absolutely.
when you practice mindfulness.
Absolutely.
There's a fascinating Harvard Business Review paper on this topic, which is really what helps you become like a Superman, informally put. But They talk about how mindfulness and meditation really give you that ability that they call metacognition. So this ability to step back at will onto, imagine there's a fast flowing river and you have this ability to step back at will onto the riverbank when you want to and watch the river flowing rather than just being tossed around with it. So when you do the practices every day, like we've all been doing, and you see the results much sooner. You don't have to wait 20 years or 35 years like Baba. So you gain this natural ability to step back, and then you're not fixated on your belief system.
Your belief system need to serve you. You don't serve your belief system. Right? And when it is time for a particular belief to be released, release it and replace it with a newer belief. I mean, that's what science has been all about, right? Newton's laws are Newton's laws, and then Einstein came along, and then all the others came along, and our belief system of how the universe works kept changing, right? So
yeah, and it's interesting actually. Again, in the Art of Living course, we talk about how it's essentially just stress that pops up at different levels. So when it pops up at the level of your head, right, at the level of your intellect, that's when you tend to get fixated on beliefs. You wipe out the stress, you'll be relaxed. You're less likely to be fixated on beliefs. Having said that, it's a lot easier said than done. That's why we all meditate. So great. Shall we move on to obstacle 3?
yes, please. That's my favorite one.
Your favorite. It gets more interesting. It gets more subtle. That's because it's experiential. Obstacle 3 is what you can think of as being the feeling block. Now, feelings are deeper, aren't they? It's something inside that makes you really uncomfortable. You can't battle it directly. So it could be the same example of somebody who doesn't network, but it's not a thought in his mind that for my role, this is not important or this is not me. It's a feeling, I'm just uncomfortable doing it. What do you do when you have that feeling deep inside, that knot in your stomach? And at the beginning, actually, some of you talked about chanting, meditation, but let me pause here. Baba, over to you in your experience. How do you deal with feelings that stall your success?
Have you ever been shopping and have you done that buy that you never thought you would because you were simply blown away by that product? Has it happened? Huh? You go in to buy you say my budget is 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees for this television that I want, and you go into the shop and that guy shows you one TV with such amazing bells and whistles. You just pull out your checkbook or you put your credit card on the table and say, okay, I'll buy it. Has it happened? And you come back home and you spend 4.5 lakhs, like double of what you decided to spend. And you say, shit, man, how did that happen? Right? This is feeling. I'll tell you one secret, one sales secret. All sales are feeling based. Every single sale that happens on the planet is feeling based. Have you noticed that? Whenever you have bought, see, you buy a new shirt, you don't think logically about it. Just, acha lag raha hai. This is feeling. Right? Once you have completed your purchase, you justify your purchase with thought. Right? And thoughts you can still handle, but feeling is a very, very deep thing inside you, which is almost impossible to get over.
Baba, this is when you want to buy something, but what if it's something that's blocking you?
Just coming to that. So just as the feeling will propel you to buy something, a feeling can completely block you from doing something which might be really good for you. Okay, and so you need to think about where that is coming from. Say, we'll take Nishita's original example of I don't want to network. I don't feel like networking. Okay, it's not, I don't think I should network. It's not me. It's, I just don't feel like doing it. It's not me. I don't like doing, it's a feeling thing. Now, why is this coming? It is because most probably in the past, that person had tried to network, had tried to make friends. Maybe it's in school, maybe earlier, and he was laughed at or he was ridiculed. And then that happened again and again and again and again, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times, until that person's nervous system decided that trying to make friends is just, people laugh at me, I make a fool of myself, better not do it. Think about how many things are there in your life like this, where I better not do it. It holds you back, and it can be traced to some incident or incidents that happened to you way back in the past, which are still running you in the present. Maybe in school it was a great strategy. Stay away from all the bullies, stay away from people, just work, focus on your books, get great grades, you're sorted. For other people, it is go to the gym, make up huge big fat muscles, nobody can bully me anymore. So do you see how things like that, those feeling kind of run your life? In Sanskrit, they are called samsaras. हम बोलते हैं ना, बच्चे लोग को अच्छे संस्कार दो, right? Give them the good feelings right from the start. Nishita is genius at doing that. You should see how she parents her daughter. It's brilliant. She can do a parenting workshop all by herself. How she and Bart, it's really, really amazing how she and Bart, her husband, take care of Elena. And they have gone to such crazy length to give those good sanskaras to the child, right? So now again, it comes back to, therefore, how to release samskara, how to release the deep-rooted impressions that are there. And again, there are 2 ways which we talked about right in the beginning. The first is sleep. And I say the first is sleep because sleep is something that everybody knows how to do or should. You notice, say you had a breakup, say 25, 30 years ago, and that time it was really, really painful. But today you can laugh about it. Yeah, Woody Allen once said, comedy is just tragedy plus time. Right? The samskaras are released through sleep. But if you want to super accelerate that process, then you meditate. Meditation also releases samskaras. For all of you who are regularly meditating, do you notice there are times when you do something like, where did that come? How did I manage to do that? I never thought I had it in me. This is because the samskara has been released. A feeling-based block which had been holding you back for a very long time has been released. It is effortless. You don't do nothing about it. You just meditate or you just sleep enough properly. And this particular block also gets released. And therefore, you blossom into a much bigger version of yourself.
A lot of the questions and conversation today seems to have veered toward meditation, mindfulness, and so on. We have a private series of workshops for IIT and IIM alumni online, possibly in person once in a while. But these run and they're private in a special format for IIT alumni and IIM alumni. So we're going to put a Google form, a private Google form in the chat box. If you would like those invitations to those exclusive sessions, they're run by top facilitators of Art of Living globally, and they're not available otherwise in this format. Just feel free to fill it in. It's a very private form, only we have access to what is in there, and you'll get the private invitations. Satish, can you share that link in the chat box, please? There will be a field called coupon code. In that, you can just write IITD. And then it's some basic information. Baba, would you have it, the link?
One second, let me just check. I think you sent it to me, no?
I sent it to you on our WhatsApp.
1 second. Yeah, I found it. There you go.
Yeah, so it's a short Google form. Feel free to fill it in now while we take one more question. And for the coupon code, write IITD so that we know it's from a private source. Yeah. So there was one interesting question from Shafali. If someone is in the strong habit of dictating a lot, not able to lend his ears, what do you say, Baba? Should we talk about it or invite Shafali to our energy leadership workshop?
You can give a brief little thing on it.
Yeah. You know, dictating is a leadership style. And is this question about you, if I may ask, or somebody else, Shafali?
Hello. Good morning. I'm Shufali this side. Yeah, thanks for acknowledging my question. So it's regarding someone who really loves everyone around him and talks a lot just to give information, lots and lots of information. But sometimes you really wish like what you are thinking should be heard.
Yeah. Baba, would you like to take that?
I was reading up about effective teams, and turned out that the most effective teams are the ones with more women in it. Not only women, that is also there. There have to be some men, but more women. And the reason is that men interrupt people more than women. Women don't interrupt people. And one of the biggest things for a team to function well is everybody should have a feeling that they have been heard. So when men are leading the team, they kind of automatically interrupt people while they are talking and people don't feel heard, whether their ideas are taken or not. Whereas women, in general, don't interrupt, listen to everything, whatever is being said, and then do whatever is required to be done. So I think it is just a bad habit that we men have of just basically interrupting people while they speak. And I'm very, very mindful about it, because when Narendra was asking his question earlier, I did interrupt him while Nishita was patiently listening to him. If you remember. And when I did it, I said, oh God, I did it again. I'm doing that man thing once more. All right. So it is just a thing that you need to be aware of and that you need to stop. And you have to understand that it doesn't serve you. When you understand that happens. So when the person who is dictating you, or when he's telling you what to do all the time, realizes that this particular strategy is not serving him anymore, and that if he can drop it or at least minimize it, he will be far more effective. He will start doing it. That's where I think Nishita personal coaching will play a great role. Yeah, that realization has to come.
I interrupted you now to make a point. Maybe it's not only the men, but yes, this is behavior change, and coaching is the answer to behavior change, in addition to those mindfulness meditation techniques, because they accelerate that, particularly when it comes to something like listening. But you see almost an extension of that, it amplified in people who are in leadership roles, where it becomes your leadership style. You use the word dictating. That is actually a leadership style. They're directive all the time. They're barking orders all the time. But that's possible to change too, or to balance rather, again, through coaching. All right, last few minutes on obstacle number 4. Now, to understand obstacle number 4, all you need to do is ask yourself a very simple question. What do I really get my kick out of? So Have there been times in your life where you felt that spring in your step when you walk? Yeah. So if you ask yourself, what is it that gives me that spring in my step? That helps you answer, recognize what obstacle 4 will be. Now, when you think about what gives you that spring in my step, think really hard, reflect. And it's not, the answer is not being in love, because that is out of syllabus of our discussion. But really, what gives you that kick at work every day? And the answer is going to be different for different people. And that's where obstacle 4 comes in, which is what we call the pattern block. All right, so it's your very, very inherent patterns. We talked about samskaras earlier. This is something that is also a deep-seated pattern. So Dr. David McClellan from the Harvard Hay McClellan Center Heritage, he'd actually distilled patterns into 3 in the context of work. And we talk about that extensively, Baba and I, in the master classes we run. So if you'd like to know more about that, then you can fill in that same form, and when we next do a master class, you'll get the invitation. But he called it motives, Dr. McClelland. And it's, motives are this, it's really what you get your kick out of, very fundamentally. And it is also what makes you repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat your behavior, because you're getting that kick out of it, right? It may serve you, it may not serve you, but you repeat that natural behavior. So somebody else I coached, let's call him Arthur. Now, Arthur was the sales director in a very, very large company. And even during business as usual, Arthur would send emails to his team every night, 2 a.m., all marked on high priority. So you imagine now you're his team member. You wake up every morning, you see these emails marked on high priority from your boss. That was Arthur for you. And, even interestingly, in his spiritual life, Arthur was always talking to God. He was not listening to God. Now, no surprises, his team thought he was demanding, that he was impatient, that he was arrogant. They were demotivated. But Arthur couldn't help it. That was his pattern. And that is actually what had led him to being successful. He was the sales director in a very, very large firm. That was his natural pattern. Now, this is a very, very deep topic, so beyond syllabus today, but we do touch upon it to a good extent in the master classes that we run. So we've gotten a sort of overview of the 4 blocks, some strategies to bust some of them. Any quick reflections before we wrap up? Anybody? Thoughts, reflections? Anything you'd like to share, ask? Baba and I were having an interesting conversation the other day about the 4 blocks and the sequence they sit in. Baba, would you like to?
So yeah, if you look at the first block, the inertia block, it's about the body, right? And you need to nourish the body to be able to get over the inertia block. Nourishing the body means basically sleep, diet, exercise. Okay, this is very basic. This is something that if it is not done, everything else doesn't work. You basically need the energy to do anything, right? Now, what is interesting is the thought and the feeling block can be eliminated or minimized through mindfulness and meditation, but mindfulness and meditation also give energy. So though we say that meditation is a mental thing, actually it is a physical thing as well. Once Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar ji, he said it very beautifully. He said that the body is the grossest aspect of the mind and the mind is the subtlest aspect of the body. He kind of didn't even differentiate between the two. They're the same. And when that realization sets in, you realize that all floor blocks are really about the same thing. And the exact same thing will allow you to get over all of them, which is what we started this talk with, that enough good quality proper sleep. Okay, and for all the people on this call, the number is 8 hours every night. Yeah, and I'm almost 100% sure that 90% of you are not getting your full 8 hours every night. Okay, like I tell on all my talks on sleep, not enough sleep is making you older, uglier, and dumber. Enough sleep makes you younger, sexier, and smarter. Okay, so 8 hours of sleep every night. A little bit of meditation, maybe half an hour a day, 20 minutes to half an hour a day. That is great. A proper good diet. Yeah, veganism and vegetarianism is now taking over the world. It should take over your body also. Go for a vegetarian diet, you will see tremendous improvements in energy, tremendous improvements in clarity of thought. Okay, and then exercise. And exercise, when we talk about exercise, the WHO actually has named a disease called the sitting disease. It is called the sitting disease because we are sitting more than we should throughout the day. You have to remember that for millions of years, we were moving. We were actually basically running after something we wanted to eat or running away from something that wanted to eat us, right? And that was happening for millions of years. And then as farmers, gatherers, hunters, like that, we again were moving. So our way of learning is through movement. That is why those treadmill desks are so effective, if you have heard of them, because you are moving as you are working, you just work much better. So when I say exercise, I don't even mean 45 minutes in the gym every day. I mean 10 to 15 minutes of stretching for every 1 hour of sitting. Your body requires that. Okay, it is said sitting is the new smoking. So if you're sitting 8 hours a day, it is equivalent to smoking an entire packet of cigarettes a day. That is the kind of damage that's happening to your body. So sleep, food, proper good food, organic, local, you know about all that. Exercise, movement, and then meditation. When these 4 things fall into place, you can be assured of crazy amounts of energy. You can be assured of not falling sick when other people around you do. Okay. You can be assured of having the clarity of mind and having that ability to actually go for what is truly worthwhile for you in your life. So, the Art of Living series of courses. Yeah, Nishita, can I just finish?
Yes, please.
The Art of Living series of courses really help you with the meditation aspect, with the mindfulness aspect, pranayam, yoga, all these things. But you have to also realize that you need to give enough time for sleep. You need to fix your diet. You can meditate all you want and then you go and eat McDonald's meals every day. You're going to die really soon. Okay. So if you're one of those people who do it, then please put me in your will, because clearly you're not going to use your money. Okay. So so you need to fix all that, because finally we are working hard for what? So that we can enjoy life, right? And you cannot enjoy life when you're a slave to your thoughts. You cannot enjoy life when you're a slave to your feelings. And definitely you cannot enjoy life if you have no energy. Okay. So yeah, Nishita, over to you.
I had to interrupt you, and I have to interrupt you now because I think you and I, Baba, do not want to be held responsible by the people on this call for making them sit beyond that stipulated time.
1 hour, exactly.
Right. No, and the research we talked about sitting is the next smoking. So you and I don't want to be responsible for that. But we hope you all enjoyed it. We enjoyed meeting you, and we will be in touch with those of you who have put in your names in that form. Baba and I write as well. Of course, he's a best-selling author, and I have bought multiple copies of his books and gifted them to friends. That's how good they are, and I'm talking in hundreds. But we also write every now and then on LinkedIn. We're both on that platform. So if you'd like to read a little more about each of these topics, you'll find relevant things there. But thank you to the IIT Delhi Alumni Association for inviting us, and wish you all the very, very best on all these fronts. Thank you.
And I just put a link to my YouTube channel. We recently crossed 100,000 subscribers, and we got the silver plaque from YouTube. A lot of videos like this. In fact, a lot of conversations with Nishita there as videos on that. You can check it out. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for giving us your Sunday morning. And I will not say I hope it made a lot of difference. I know it made a lot of difference to you guys. Okay. All the best. Have a lovely Sunday. And I hope we keep meeting each other.
All the very best.
Hi, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you over here. I think the note or thanks come from us. That is the IIT Delhi Alumni Associations. Yeah, thank you very much, Khurshid, Bawa. I mean, all the Parsis, of course, are anyway known as the Bawas.
Absolutely.
And we being in Bombay, so we know it very well. And thank you, Nishita Bajaj Jansen, for this is a lovely conversation, and we do hope that some more session will follow sooner or later. Thanks to all the participants who questioned, and also those who didn't question but did understand what they were talking about. Yeah. Thanks to the organizer, that is Gaurav, Abhyankar, and others. Yeah. Thank you very much, and all of you have a nice Sunday afternoon. I think now we can all get up and do some 10 minutes exercise as he suggested it. Yeah. All the best to you for the day. Thank you.